Welcome to Mr. Screen. Deadpool has caused trouble on the big screen on several occasions with several characters from the Marvel Universe, but the main point here is that within the comic book universe he has caused much more. So here I will bring you a version of the story that involved the Marvel multiverse where Deadpool initially went to save everyone, but ended up causing big problems, or actually the big problem for all lines of the multiverse. A chaotic journey. Deadpool, as always, was in the middle of one of his absurd adventures. After yet another bloody mission, he was now on a journey that, for a change, involved the word end of the world. His target? The mutant Omega, a creature capable of absorbing energy and causing mass destruction. He knew this wouldn't be easy, but since when did Deadpool care about the impossible? Okay, wait, focus. This mutant Omega isn't going to destroy himself, Deadpool muttered to himself as he adjusted his teleportation bracelets. I just need to teleport to the right place, teach him a lesson, and get back in time for the chimichanga. However, as usual, things didn't go according to plan. When Deadpool activated his interdimensional travel device, instead of ending up at the place where Omega was wreaking havoc, he was thrown into an entirely different reality. It was as if fate had other intentions for the loudmouth mercenary. The first thing Deadpool noticed when he arrived at his unexpected destination was chaos. Massive explosions, screams of pain, and total destruction. The skies were covered in a thick haze of smoke. In the center of it all stood the enormous Thanos, with his shimmering golden armor and the Infinity Gauntlet shining with the 6 Infinity Stones. What the? Deadpool blinked a few times, trying to make sense of the situation. This doesn't look like Omega's home. Before his eyes, the Avengers were fighting the battle of their lives against Thanos. Captain America, Thor, Iron Man, Black Widow, and the rest of the group were doing their best to stop the Mad Titan from completing his genocidal plan. The battle was even, but Thanos seemed to have the upper hand. Another Avengers crossover? Deadpool snorted. They didn't even invite me this time. He watched for a moment, unsure whether to get involved or not. But then, as if guided by an unseen force, his eyes fixed on the Infinity Gauntlet. Now we're speaking my language, Wade muttered, his face alight with excitement. I could have so much fun with that toy. The unexpected encounter. Before Deadpool could make a rational decision, he sprinted toward the battlefield with all his characteristic lack of stealth. He rolled through explosions, dodged energy blasts, and arrived just in time to see Iron Man brutally thrown by Thanos. Well, if it isn't everyone's favorite junkyard. Deadpool laughed, but no one seemed to hear his sarcastic comments. Thanos, in all his titanic glory, was about to crush Captain America when suddenly a voice interrupted the moment. Hey, big purple guy. How about you let me hold this for a second? Before Thanos could process what was happening, Deadpool had jumped out of the shadows and grabbed the Infinity Gauntlet. With a quick and totally unexpected pull, he ripped the gauntlet from Thanos' hand and held it up like a trophy. I win. Deadpool bounced around with the gauntlet in his hands. Now what do I do with this? Oh, so many possibilities. Thanos' eyes widened in fury, but before he could react, Deadpool used the Space Stone to teleport himself a short distance away, out of Titan's reach. A proposal for peace and rejection. With the gauntlet now in his hands, Deadpool wasted no time in using his new toy. He waved his hands and transformed half of the destroyed vehicles on the battlefield into giant party balloons. Neon beams danced across the sky, while colorful confetti rained down from all sides. The Avengers, momentarily disconcerted, stood stunned as they tried to understand what was happening. Captain America, always the most collected, was the first to approach Deadpool. Wait, what are you doing? Steve Rogers said, his voice calm but firm. This is dangerous. Give me back the gauntlet. No. Deadpool, grinning wildly beneath his mask, raised his hand with the gauntlet, waving it in front of Steve. Oh look, good old Steve wants me to give him back his toy. What if I say no? Captain America took a deep breath. This isn't a joke, Deadpool. The Infinity Stones aren't for playing around with. Thanos nearly destroyed half the universe with it. You need to understand what's at stake. Deadpool tilted his head, as if considering Steve's proposal for a second. Then, with a snap of his fingers and a laugh, he made Steve's shield disappear, replacing it with a giant ice cream cone. Huh. Oh man, that's great. You look so much better with an ice cream cone. Seriously, Steve, lighten up a little. I'm not the kind of guy who's going to go around decimating the universe. I just want to have some fun. Steve frowned, clearly having no patience for wage jokes. The destruction begins. While Deadpool was busy mocking Steve, the other Avengers decided to take action. Thor, with his hammer Stormbreaker in hand, advanced with all his strength towards Deadpool, determined to take the gauntlet back. "By Odin, I'm going to take it from you," Thor shouted as he struck. Deadpool, without even having to move, snapped his fingers again, causing Thor to be enveloped in a glowing aura. In a matter of seconds, the god of thunder was transformed into a pile of glowing butterflies, flying merrily around the battlefield. "Oh, I turned Thor into butterflies." Deadpool laughed uncontrollably. "I'm the absolute master of reality now." Black Widow and Hawkeye tried to sneak up on them, but Deadpool, with a simple gesture of his hand, froze them in place, transforming their combat clothes into dinosaur pajamas. "Hey guys, are you ready for the slumber party?" Thanos, watching the absurd carnage in front of him, was filled with hatred. He advanced brutally, trying to recover his gauntlet by force. Deadpool just smiled and, before Thanos could touch him, used the Power Stone to launch a wave of energy that knocked the Titan to the ground, something few had managed before. "You thought you were the ultimate villain, Thanos?" Deadpool approached, his voice now more serious, but still with a hint of mockery. "But guess what? You've just been demoted to a supporting character in my show." Then to the Avengers, now with the full power of the gauntlet in hand, Deadpool decided it was time to end the Avengers once and for all. Not because he wanted to destroy the world or the universe, but simply because, well, he could. With a snap of his fingers, he wiped all the Avengers from the battlefield, leaving only Thanos still lying humiliated on the ground. "It's just you and me now, Titany." Deadpool snapped his fingers again, and Thanos was enveloped in a glowing chain that imprisoned him. "I could finish you off right now," Deadpool said, raising the gauntlet. "But where's the fun in that? I'd rather watch you crawl, purple." Thanos, unable to move, let out a growl of rage, but could do nothing against the power Deadpool now wielded. The new Lord of Reality. With the Avengers defeated and Thanos humiliated, Deadpool was now the most powerful being in the universe. He looked down at the gauntlet in his hand and laughed. "Well, what now? I could remake the entire universe in my image, but that sounds tiresome." He sighed and looked up at the sky. "I think I'll take a vacation. Maybe turn the moon into a giant meat taco while I'm at it." With one last snap of his fingers, Deadpool disappeared, taking the Infinity Gauntlet with him and leaving the universe in a state of total chaos. The wrath of Thanos was humiliated. Never in his entire existence had he experienced such a level of defeat and shame. The Mad Titan, who had destroyed half the universe with a simple snap of his fingers, now lay on the ground, immobilized by chains conjured by Deadpool. He felt his pride shatter, and his fury grow exponentially. "Why, you insolent!" Thanos roared, his deep voice echoing across the devastated battlefield. "You are a fool, Deadpool. You have no idea what you have done. I am Thanos, the Mad Titan. I am not a joke to be mocked." Deadpool, who was sitting in a recliner conjured by the Reality Stone, wearing a ridiculously large beach hat and sunglasses, looked at Thanos with a carefree smile. In one hand, he held a cocktail with a small umbrella. Yeah, Thanos. All that Mad Titan, Universe Destroyer stuff, blah blah blah." Deadpool stirred his glass idly. "But, man, honestly, you missed your chance to shine. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have universes to reshape, maybe turn the Milky Way into a donut galaxy." Thanos, trapped and powerless, could only watch as Deadpool enjoyed the power of the Infinity Gauntlet. His blood boiled. The humiliation was unbearable, and he knew Deadpool didn't understand the responsibility and true potential of what he carried. But try as he might to fight his bonds, he was helpless. Then, out of nowhere, something happened. A familiar presence appeared on the horizon. A hooded figure, shrouded in deep shadows and a black cloak, materialized silently. The atmosphere around her grew cold and somber, and even Deadpool, as unconcerned as he was, noticed the change in the air. "Wow, who turned out the lights?" Deadpool joked, turning to the newcomer. Thanos, realizing who it was, fell silent. The anger in his eyes dimmed, replaced by something he rarely showed, desire. It was Death, the cosmic entity that ruled the realm of the dead. Her spectral form floated with a cold, mysterious beauty. She was not just the personification of death, she was the object of an ancient and deep obsession of Thanos's. He loved her desperately. "Dedith," Thanos whispered, his voice trembling with reverence. "You?" You came. Deadpool arched an eyebrow and watched the exchange curiously. A love rejected. Death did not respond immediately. She moved closer, floating like a silent specter, her cloak billowing in the ethereal wind. Her eyes glowed with a sinister light as she watched Thanos, who was in a state of humiliation and submission. However, contrary to what Thanos had expected, her expression was not one of approval. On the contrary, it was one of disappointment. Thanos. Death's voice was soft, but it carried tremendous weight. You have failed. You who have always sought absolute power in my name have been defeated by a being like him? She slowly turned to Deadpool, who was now standing, adjusting his hat and smiling teasingly. Hey, Lady Death. Deadpool waved exaggeratedly. It is always a pleasure to meet a cosmic entity, especially one who has such interesting taste and, shall we say, boyfriends? Thanos felt as if his heart were breaking. The entity he loved more than anything in the universe was there, but her words were like daggers to his soul. He who had killed billions to impress her was now viewed with contempt. His obsession with death had driven him to commit unspeakable acts, and all he wanted was to be worthy of her attention and affection. But in that moment, he realized that he had failed in her eyes. Did everything for you, Thanos whispered, his voice filled with desperation. All to earn your favor. Death only stared at him for a moment longer before turning fully to Deadpool. You, on the other hand, she began with a tone Thanos had never heard before. It was a tone of curiosity and perhaps fascination. Deadpool pointed to himself in surprise. Me? Oh, honey, I didn't know you had your eye on me. I usually only attract the broken, but you're something else. Death moved even closer to Deadpool, floating in her spectral cloak. You are unlike anyone I have ever met, Wade Wilson. You do not fear death. In fact, you embrace it, flirt with it, and laugh in its face. And now, with the power of the Infinity Stones in your hands, you could rewrite the rules of existence, if you wanted to. Deadpool blinked several times, not believing what he was hearing. Wait a minute, are you saying that? Yes, Wade, Death replied, his voice soft. You intrigue me. Death's love Thanos, upon hearing these words, was stunned. His breathing quickened, and he began to fight against the chains that bound him with renewed intensity, driven by the rage and jealousy that now consumed him. No, he is not worthy of you, Thanos shouted, his voice full of desperation. I'm the one who should be by your side. I have sacrificed everything for you. Death, however, paid him no attention. She was completely focused on Deadpool. You, Wade, you have the power to defy fate, to mock death, and yet you continue to revel in the chaos. There is a freedom in you that no other being possesses. Deadpool looked at Death, then at Thanos, who was about to explode with rage, and then back at Death. Wait, is this really happening? The cosmic entity Death is hitting on me? Death tilted his head slightly, a gesture that seemed to confirm what Deadpool had just said. Yes, Wade, and you have the power to do whatever you want with the universe. Maybe even stand by my side as a true equal. Deadpool scratched the back of his neck, clearly confused. Okay, this is pretty crazy. Even by my standards. Thanos' despair. As Death and Deadpool talked, Thanos was completely losing control. He had never felt so helpless, so rejected. The entity he loved was now fascinated by a clown like Deadpool. He, the Mad Titan, had been surpassed by someone who didn't even take the power he possessed seriously. With a scream of pure rage, Thanos managed to break the chains that held him, his strength fueled by his fury and jealousy. He stood up, his armor cracked, but his eyes glowing with a rage that could consume galaxies. I will not allow this. Thanos roared, advancing towards Deadpool. I will end you, Wade Wilson, and regain Death's favor. However, before Thanos could reach Deadpool, he was immobilized again. With a simple snap of his fingers, Deadpool trapped Thanos in a sphere of energy floating above the ground. Oh, no jealous fights, big guy. Deadpool rolled his eyes. Let's be adults here, okay? Thanos, helpless and furious, could only watch as Deadpool and Death continue to talk. The Mad Titan knew that, try as he might, he had lost something that no amount of power could regain, Death's interest. And so, while Deadpool laughed and flirted with the entity of Death, Thanos, the conqueror of worlds, the destroyer of universes, was left to watch, trapped in his own despair. So these are our theoretical points. What do you think of all this? What do you believe about this? Have you ever imagined Deadpool ending the entire Marvel Universe? Don't forget to leave a comment with your opinion, click the like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any videos. I'm Mr. Screen and see you soon. Bye.